Welcome back, second graders. Mrs. Russell again here to do Number Corner with you. If you happen to print the hidden picture the other day, please go grab that and have it ready before we get started. Today is Tuesday, May 5th, 2020. So let's go ahead and take a look at the card for today. And it looks like we have more arrows. So we will zoom in here. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds here to figure out where Joey will land if he is starting at 150 from yesterday. So he is starting here. I want you to follow his hops, his arrows, to figure out what square we're going to color in on our thousands grid today. So go ahead and pause the video if you need a little extra time, and then we will look at your answer. All right, let's take a look. So if he started at 150 from yesterday, it looks like he is taking one jump down a row, and we know that's down 100. So keep that 100 in your mind. And then he's going to go to the right 2 times. 1, 2. And remember, every time we jump to the right, we're adding 10. So we've added 100 to go down, plus 10, plus 10. So 100 plus 10 plus 10. How many jumps did he take to get to 270 today? If you said 110, you are correct. So let's color in 270 before we go and fill in our observation chart. Today we are going to color in that square half diagonal with green to match the calendar marker. So go ahead and find a green and get that colored in and meet me back. All right, so now that we have 270 colored in halfway green, let's go back to and fill in our observation chart. So today is May, so 5-5. And yesterday, Joey landed at 150, so that's where we were starting today. And his jumps were down, right, right. And so if he started at 150, we said we went down, which is adding 100, and then 2 10s. So 100 plus 10 is 110, plus one more 10 is 120. Let's put in the plus sign there. He took 120 jumps and he landed at 170 today. That was his ending. Great job. Oh, did anybody catch Mrs. Russell's mistake? He should be at 270. Now today we're going to do a new activity called and going to find number neighbors on the 1000 grid. So each of the numbers on the 1000 grid, if we look at that, have neighbors, neighboring numbers, just like people living in neighborhoods or apartment buildings often have neighbors living on either side of them, either in the front or the back, or sometimes on the side. So we're going to look at the thousands grid, and we're going to be starting with a beginning number and trying to figure out the neighbor numbers. Let's dive into the first one. If we look at our sheet here and we just look at square 1, we're going to do one together here today. We need to figure out the neighbor numbers for the number 220. We're going to work together to determine and write this number's neighbors in the surrounding squares on the paper. And then you'll use your paper at home, if you're going to follow along, to record the answers. So using this one, let's see what this square says. I see a plus 10. What number is 10 more than 220? 10 more. If we go back to our hundreds grid, we can see that the square next to 10 more is 230. So we're going to go ahead and fill that in. 230. 230 is 10 more than 220. Now let's take a look and figure out what is 10 less. We'll go back here, replace it to 220. What is 10 less than 220? So if we make our counter go over, 10 less is 210. So we will put that in. Good. Now let's take a look to see what happened to the numbers when we did 10 more and 10 less. Did the hundreds place change? Did the tens place change? Well, I see 200, 200, and 200. So when we added and subtracted 10, the hundreds place did not change. But now I'm looking at the tens place, and we started with a 2. We went down to a 1 when we subtracted 10, and we went up to a 3 when we added 10. So if we notice, the tens place changed when we added and subtracted 10. Now let's take a look at what happens when we add or subtract 100. So if we go back to our grid, start back at 220, what is 100 more than 220? 100 more. You're right, we would move it down a row to 320. So we will fill that in, 320. Great, now let's take a look at what happens when we subtract 100, going back to our thousands grid. So back at our thousands grid, we'll reset to 220, and we're going to subtract 100, and we land at 120. So we will fill that in, 120. Good, now let's see what we notice happening to the numbers when we added and subtracted 100. So I see this place value, the ones place looks the same, the tens look the same. Look at the hundreds. We started with 200, and when we subtracted, the number got smaller by 100, and when we added, it went to a 3. Let's do one more puzzle together today, and then I'm going to challenge you to do some on your own at the end of this. So let's do puzzle number 2, 750. If we go back and we set our piece at 750, see if I can find it here, 750. Why don't you just take a look at that for a moment, and we're going to see if we can try to fill this one in by ourselves without looking at the thousands grid. So go ahead and take a look. And now let's try to fill it in without looking at the thousands grid. We can use our answers from the other one to kind of see if we are doing it right. So 750, 10 more. What happened over here? The tens, got one bigger. So if I have a 5 in the tens place, I know one bigger is 6. So 760. And then from last time, we knew when we subtracted 10, the tens place got smaller by 1. So 750 going this way would leave us with, you're right, 740. Great job. So if we look at that, we see that our tens place added a 10 and subtracted a 10. Let's take a look now going 100 more. If you were thinking about moving down a row, what would you see? 100 more. So if we go back to our first example, 100 more, the 2 is getting bigger. So what's going to happen to the 7? You guessed it, 850. Great job. And then if it's going back 100 or getting 100 smaller, look at that 7. What would it change to if we go up a row? Yes, 650. Nice job, second graders. All right, and I'm just going to underline that so you can see that pattern changing. There we are. So in conclusion, when you add or subtract 10 to or from a number, the digit in the tens place increases or decreases by exactly 1, while the other digits remain the same. When they add, or when you guys add and subtract 100 to or from a number, the digit in the hundreds place goes up or back by exactly 1, while all the rest of the digits remain the same. Now what I would like you to do is to complete at least 4 more puzzles on your own. You can even do all of them if you want to challenge yourself. What you can do is write down the number in the center of the circle, or the center of the square. So you can write this down, and you don't need to draw boxes if you don't want to. You could just write the number above and write the number below into the sides. I'm going to show you the whole worksheet in just a moment, and you can pause this video for as long as you need to copy them down and do your work. After you're done, keep watching till the end of the video, and I'll show you the answers so that you can check your work. Good luck and have a great day! All right, so here are all of the problems on the worksheet. Again, try to do at least 4 on your own, if not all of them. And then when you're done, resume the video and the answers will be there for you. All right, and as I promised, here are the answers to all of the problems. How many did you get correct? I'd be curious to know. Have a great day.